Hey, I'm Paul from Human Giant. Watch me get interviewed next. Like, to me, doing like a festival is kind of like if you work at IBM and it's like, we're going to have a corporate retreat in, San Antonio. It's like, it's awesome. It's just a paid vacation, and you go there and you're like, we're going to party, we're going to do everything, and then we have to do the show as well, So when you're at home, you have more time to prepare, and you can like test out the lights. But here it's like, you got 10 minutes, you got to give us all your sound cues, you got to go. So it's, I think, I don't know if I answered that question as good as I think I could. Like, the best part about going to festivals is actually, like, for me, like going and seeing everything that's here, like going to see the bands, going to like hang out, and the shows are great, but we know that they can. This is a tough question for me. I'm trying to like figure out what because I'm also like, well, what's interesting? Like, how is that the most? For me, I like to take advantage and just party at a festival. To me, like, I treat a festival like this is a vacation. Like, we actively search out these things, like with Bumbershoot or Bonnaroo or South by Southwest. Like, oh, we want to go there because we love all the bands that are playing, and it's sort of like, oh, great, you'll pay for our airfare and our hotel, and all we have to do is do a show. Done. Like, it's like, I can't wait. So I think for me, as much as I love doing the shows, I also just love like experiencing the festival. Like, that's like what I love about going on the road. And at home, like, basically that's a time to like refine the actual show. It's like, I know that this show works because we've done it a million times, like in LA or New York, so we come here a little bit on autopilot. It's not like we don't have to worry about too much, and we can just kind of sit back and drink and go on Ferris wheels. I want to just do a really good show at a festival, but I feel like if I can accomplish that, like, it's been, I guess it's been most of the time, like, with Human Giant, I'll use Human Giant as a better example. Like, Human Giant, like, we work on a show and we get it all polished and ready to go, so when we bring it to a festival, we know all the ins and outs, so we don't have to worry about anything, so we can just sit back and enjoy it. But there's like the stress of like just setting it up and running somebody through tech cues, and like, we have these big guns that we use in our show that work on CO2 canisters. So it's like, all right, where do they sell those CO2 canisters? Because we can't bring them on the airplane, and we have these like ridiculous like t-shirt guns. So yeah, it's like, that's always just bringing the props around. It's like, I'm right now carrying like a black baby in I shouldn't say that, but I have my luggage looks ridiculous. It's like, I have like 3 thumbs that light up, a black baby, scarves, a t-shirt gun, and wigs and mustaches. I look like I could be a terrorist whenever I travel. Like, that's the biggest problem about like bringing a show out. Well, meanwhile, I'll just look like a weirdo in a Prius if I have all that stuff in my car in LA, but out here it's always like, oh, I gotta lug this stuff around. It's awesome that all the music, like all these music effects, like music and comedy, obviously, like, I'm not the first person to say it, like, have like an interesting kind of connection, because I feel like they appeal to a similar audience. And like UCB, I think, brings this kind of like, for lack of a better word, like this kind of like rock star kind of like energy to their shows. They're very high energy and fun, and they're a little bit different than just plain stand-up shows. So when they are at like things like Bumbershoot or Bonnaroo and stuff, they can really get the audience kind of excited. They involve the audience and stuff. So I think, to me, I used to tour around the country and do like community arts centers in like North Carolina or colleges, and those aren't as much fun as like being here at a festival, because it's basically like, I feel like UCB in New York and LA cater to a very specific kind of crowd, like a hip kind of fun crowd that may not, like, they're smarter, and they're kind of like the crowd, especially in New York, that would go see bands at smaller venues and stuff like that. And I feel like when you come out to all these festivals, you're attracting that same audience, but people who don't, this doesn't make any sense, like, but you're attracting that same kind of audience, but in a different location. Like, so I don't know, again, I feel like the audience for, the audience for music and comedy, it's not like, well, I only like music and I only like comedy. Like, I mean, a lot of the comedians, I think, want to go to these festivals because, like, oh man, I want to see Beck, I want to see T.I. And then a lot of fans, they're coming for the same thing, like, oh man, I get to go see, like, like Janine Garofalo, that's awesome, and I got to go see, the Walkman. Like, it's kind of like a cool, you're just appealing to the same audience. I don't think, I think whoever just started doing that, and it just realized, oh, this is like a really smart thing to do. Yeah, I mean, I've been here at Bumbershoot a couple of years, and it just grows every year, like the comedy stuff. That's what I think. I think it just is a really good fit. It's the people who like live in Seattle who want to see, all these bands are the same people who would want to see all these comedians if they came to town. So it's like you're giving them one central location to kind of do it. And I also don't think that a comedy festival, you could probably get, like, people aren't going to show up to a comedy festival like, whoa, on the main stage tonight, you know. But when you kind of mix the two, it's great, and I think it's a nice break too. Like a lot of times, like a lot of the music shows are in outdoor venues, so you come in, you get air conditioning, you get to see some comedy, you get to sit down. It kind of works, and it kind of makes your festival a little bit more of an experience. You get to do a bunch of different things, especially Bumbershoot. It's like art, comedy, and music. I think it's a really cool thing because it's like if you like a certain band, then you might find out about a comedian, and if you like a certain comedian, you might walk around and find out about a band. It really, like, same thing. Like Chuck Palahniuk was here, I guess, like 2 years ago. And it's like, well, it's just like, it just caters, I think, more to a lifestyle than it is like one entertainment choice. I think, and that's and it's great. And then because you see Chuck Palahniuk like talk with somebody on stage that you maybe never have heard of before, like, oh, I gotta see that person. Same thing with the stand-up shows. It's like, oh, I know this guy, but I don't know the two other people they're with. And then you're like, oh, I like them now too. So I think it's always about like educating yourself. We love coming to festivals, but just because the audiences are great. And then we can try, like, for the Human Giant show, we're gonna do like a different bit every night. We're gonna do like most of the same stuff, but switch out one bit. And the MySpace show that we're doing here, that's all improvised, so that's even better. It's like it'll just be a totally, completely new show for every audience. MySpace is actually a show we've been doing for 3 years in LA, and it's basically a bunch of people that you might see around. Like Matt Walsh is actually coming in as a special guest. Like he's from the Upright Citizens Brigade, and he was on The Daily Show, and just awesome. And then the rest of the cast is Seth Morris, Owen Burke, Rob Hubel from Human Giant, and Chad Carter. Well, the bands I'm excited to see like this weekend, like primarily, are I'm really excited to see the Walkmen. Their new album is supposed to be amazing. I want to see them. And then what is it? Tick Tick Tick? Is that? I want to see those guys. I've heard they're amazing. I want to see T.I. and Beck. I'm kind of curious to see Stone Temple Pilots, because now, like, see what that's about. Like, it's gonna bring me back to my youth. Yeah. And then, I mean, who else am I really been excited about? I got into like this new, like not a new band, but I got into this band called the Dirt Bombs like really recently. I really like them a lot, and I love Clips, that rap group Clips, and I feel like people have to find out about them. Their new album's coming out soon, and they're awesome. Like, I don't know, it's like it's always cool like to be turned on to stuff, and I feel like part of the reason why I am is because of all the festivals that we've gone to. It's like I've been in, in this 1 year, I've been in South by Southwest, Lollapalooza, and Bonnaroo, and now Bumbershoot. So like you get to see different people, like, oh, I heard they're great, I'm gonna go see them again. And you get to see weird things like P-Lander Z, which is like Japanese noise punk, in South by Southwest. And you come here and you get to see like there's like a group of dancers, I think, that like they do dancing on these like really tall poles. I've heard of it. Yeah, it's like, so yeah, it's like it's just kind of cool. Like you get to find out about stuff, and then whenever you see somebody live too, I think 90% of the time they're like just better than anything. Like that's the best introduction to it. Like I saw Metallica. I'm an okay Metallica fan. Like I like Metallica, but then I saw them live. I was like, whoa, Metallica is amazing. Like they were amazing. I just love getting to see live music, and then you go home and you download it, and you're all good. Next June, this movie Year One comes out, directed by Harold Ramis, who is amazing. Just been involved in everything great in the last like 25 years. And it's with Jack Black and Michael Cera. Now I can't really talk about it because they're like, it's a very like secretive thing. But I wear very little clothes in it, and I get very dirty. Those are the two things that I could tell you about. But it's super awesome. It's it's like I got an amazing cast, like Hank Azaria, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, the kid who played. I think I'm not even pronouncing his name right, but he was in McLovin and Superbad, and a bunch of other great people. Check me out. I have the very small part, but you will see me as a slave in biblical times. And then in Bride Wars, that's awesome. It's Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway, and I actually play a dance instructor that Kate Hudson hires to sabotage Anne Hathaway's wedding. And it's just ridiculous, like wearing like a black leotard and just teaching them ridiculous dance moves.
Push a ton, or you can call me Ziploc. Yellow with the blue, made green when the coke drop. 15 years old, cooking raw rock. Mama getting mad cause I was fucking up her gold pots. Drug dealer, been that nigga half my life. Mongoose bicycle, I was stuffing junkie pipes. Graduated, now I get it for the asking price. He no speaky English, if your fucking cash is right. They know